of adaptation versus rationing, although the Mayas took a shot at it, but they were not able to save themselves as the Peruvians were. Now, I'm a little bit short on images when it comes to Mayans and Peruvians, so I've had to improvise with a bit of Indiana Jones here on your screen. Now, as I say, England was exporting wine to France. The vineyards also flourished in impossible, or at least improbable, regions like southern Norway and eastern Prussia. During the medieval warm period, around or shortly before 1200 AD, evidence suggests that the Vikings colonised Greenland. That was the time. They appear to have abandoned Iceland and Greenland about 1400 AD as global temperatures fell, which makes good sense. We also have in this time the cathedral building, thanks to the surplus in the warm, and if you like Pillars of the Earth, which is Ken Follett's book, then you're going to love the cathedrals. Elsewhere, Mongolia, northern China, these areas generally became drier. The Tang dynasty fell by the early 900s as crops failed, and there's Genghis Khan. His bloody rampage across the Asian continent happened in no small part because the grasslands of the Mongolian steppes grew too parched for his people to graze their horses there. Although data remains sketchy, it seems probable that extended droughts dried up pasture land on the Central Asian steppe, propelling the armies of Genghis Khan westward. Genghis Khan hit the saddle in the early 1200s and conquered a good part of the Asian landmass, from northern China to Russia and even as far as Poland. And now things cool down again. We've got a period called the Little Ice Age, which we're coming out of in our modern times, but here's what we know about the Little Ice Age. Was the collapse of those Norse settlements in Greenland. We saw the Irish famine, we saw the French Revolution, although that's drawing a long bow for me, because I'm not in a big hurry to explain all of history through climate, but it does have some tantalising connections, doesn't it? French Revolution, not so sure. English and Dutch farmers diversified their crops. They became much less vulnerable to bad weather. The unexpected benefit of the Little Ice Age, the English enjoyed centuries of white Christmases, leading to a whole catalogue of Christmas carols about snowy English countryside. Had it looked like the waterlogged scenes of rural England in January today, would we ever have had jingle bells as a song in our culture? So if that's a benefit for you, if you think that all those years of having your ass frozen off are worth it in return for jingle bells, well, big cost, small benefit perhaps. Then the Little Ice Age, okay, so we've started that in the early 1300s, and it came up to that late 1800s, or no, let's say the early 1800s is when the Little Ice Age started to end. Helped along by the arrival of the Black Death during that time in the 1300s, and the large drop in crop harvests. The population of Europe crashed and took about 300 years or more to recover since the 1300s. The Norse populations of Greenland, as I say, they died out altogether by 1450. From around 1650 to 1820, the River Thames froze over. The freezing of the river was celebrated with a winter carnival. Now that doesn't happen anymore, because we are in a warm period. But back then, the Little Ice Age happened quite regularly. People had markets out on the river. And one of these years, maybe several, there was no summer, and Mary Shelley stayed indoors, sharing ghost stories, writing the book Frankenstein, which I've read and it ain't half bad. And then, of course, we have this modern warm period, which we've come to now, and as far as I know, posterity has yet to give a name to it. So, to conclude my presentation, 2 main points. Number 1, global warming is history. It happened before, and that's perfectly usual. Please don't go into your thinking about climate change supposing it is new and unprecedented. It's really not. Second point, global warming makes history. Human adaptations to climate have made us who we are today. Our cultural and technological evolution hasn't come off too badly from the fray of warmings and coolings. There will be winners and losers as always, but far more winners if we put our adaptability front and centre rather than, say, an Earth Hour type rationing and reduced consumption approach to the challenge. I'm done. On the next show, how does a free market economy deal with natural disasters, or indeed unnatural disasters such as climate change? See you then.